Let me say it. Okay. All right, President.
You shut up!
All right, Mr. President. Action.
Is this on?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Don't talk. Please. I'll answer my own questions. Why am I wearing this? Because there's, like, people in the streets are asking me if I'm dead. Am I, like, the reincarnation? Am I, like, why don't I have the beard? That's my main question. I'll tell you because I can't hug anyone. Everyone, like, Brussels out because it's been growing for, like, 150 years, so I am dead. I'm just coming back to, like, this interview. And I wear this hat so no one recognizes me. And now people think I'm like Lady Gaga because they think that's what she'd wear. But you know what? I don't even have to explain it because you hear about my life. So I know. I think so. I was born February 12th, 1809. That's 201 years ago. I still look better than most people in Hollywood. I was born to Thomas Lincoln and Nancy Hawks. One of them, the mother, as usual, love you, Ma, she was the better one, and the father was an alcoholic who continuously sprawled out the farmer's loans that he got from selling bulls on the market. He'd blow it on whiskey and slaves and other things, which is why I never liked slaves because of that reason. Makes sense now, doesn't it? It's like an origin story. It's like how you get to really putting that sometimes. What else am I going to say? What's this? I was named after my grandfather, who had been killed in an Indian raid. Very sad. And I had a very good education. I was bright, very humble, and was smarter than anyone else in the school. No one was as smart as Abraham Lincoln. Nobody. And if they did, I would crush their little dreams like dust. But I was very humble. Very humble. That's what I'm most proud of. They were... I was very opposed to slavery. I never joined a church. I don't remember that, but okay, the notes say it. The 1816, my family left Kentucky because they didn't want to fight people for land or any of that type of thing because, you know, land was limited. And we moved out, and soon at the age of 22, I moved out into the big, bright world where eventually I would become king and all the great guys would love me. Before I got there, there were a lot of hardships. First off, my mother died. Really stinks. I was very attached to her, like, you know, like Chris Farley was attached to David Spade, and then Chris died, and then everything went down the toilet for David. He's never made a good movie since, except for The Emperor's New Groove. Love that movie. Anyway, back on track. My mother died, and I loved her so much that this new mother, that I didn't get attached to her too quickly, though I did refer to her as Mom till she died. My father, on the other hand, you know, waned a little bit. But once I left the house, I had fond memories of them, and I sent money to my father and mother on many occasions. Now, politically, when I left, I tried to get into that because that had always been an interest of me, because I'm a smart guy, so I follow people like Barack Obama and Arnold Schwarzenegger, and use my brains to become political. The one job where you're always telling the truth was what its motto was in those days. Today, I think it's the only job where you can get away with lying, but that's just me. My first love was Anne Rutledge, but she died. Probably typhoid fever. It was sad. I've never loved anyone like that before. I still get teary-eyed. Anyway, I met Mary Owens. And so many other women. And then I got engaged to Mary Todd. And we had 3 wonderful, beautiful, cute children. One of them survived. Very happy marriage. Let's see what else I'm going to say. Stupid papers. Give me a paper cut. Okay, I'm a wig. Okay, I'm a wig, and I refer to myself as Henry Clay Wig. That was my inspiration in the political world. Moved on up from lawyer first. That's what my first job was. Lawyer. I said cases very well. And with my hat, not this hat, the hat that lost the guy assassinated. But then I moved up from lawyer to mayor. Eventually, moved on to the House of Representatives, where I became a very political leader. Now, after that, it's time for me to move on up. to the big leagues. The big ones. Big ones. Size of Russell Crowe's divaness big. Presidency. 1860, I was elected as the 16th president. And boy howdy, that was great. I mean, it was like so awesome. I couldn't get over it. Unfortunately, I had a big problem to delve into. The Civil War, which was like my least favorite thing in the world, was being fought over. Slaves. Hated that we were doing that. I mean, all men are given the rights, the whole thing. It just didn't make sense to me. So we were fighting over who got slave rights. We tried to make sure that everyone in the U.S. became, slave-free, but it didn't go right. So, yeah, that was interesting for a while. We went through many generals until I got the best one ever. My old poker buddy, good old friend of mine, Useless Grant. Very fun guy. You should have seen him. He was like wonderful. He was good at following orders, good at giving orders, and great at doing things. Now, is this thing going? Okay. When America started to lose hope after Gettysburg, I gave him something, a good swift kick. That was the Gettysburg Address. 7 years ago. Well, I'll Twitter the rest of it tonight. But the point is, that was one of the greatest speeches ever, and it raised the public's approval for the war down. No one liked it anymore, and we all wanted to get rid of slaves. We wanted to honor those that had died. Yeah, loved it. So then, I was elected second presidency. One of the big guns. It was amazing. And then something happened. One night, it was so blithering awful, it changed the world forever. I lost one of my first poker games in years. That just started a lot of bad things. I had my cow running away from home, my dog running away from home. We had no meat for a few days. And then I was just angry. Because I was so angry and so delusional. I was like, to one guy, I was like, I think I'm going to get assassinated tonight. When I was going to Ford's Theater, before I went there. And he was like, oh, he hasn't eaten in 4 days. He's probably just full. So we went off on a journey to Ford's Theater, and then some guy named John Wilkes Booth decides, I'm gonna go shoot Abraham Lincoln, and I'll be a hero. So he comes up to me with a gun to my head and shoots me. And I'm dead in a few seconds. And he just runs off, yelling, did he yell? Just let me see. Sic tempus tyrannis! Forever attacked. And he ran off. It's horrible. He lived for 11 days after shooting me when they finally caught him in a barn in Connecticut and shot him down. But I was dead. Funeral. I've been really good since then. So, is that all? Yeah, no. I gotta say more. So, what happened was, my policies live on. All of us. And all of America. We live in a land of freedom, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, and bad singles by Iggy Pop. I did it! Oh, it's not nothing! No! What? Stop! Good night! This is Abraham Lincoln. I'll never give you back your Iggy Pop. I'll mention more I want Iggy Pop. Iggy Pop, Iggy Pop, Iggy Pop.